Welcome to Foodonomics. Today we're preserving 50 pounds of tomatoes. So we are now on the second or third batch actually of tomatoes. So this is what the puree looks like right now, and the water has to go down completely. So we're on the second day actually of bringing this down, pureeing this down. I think I might not puree it all the way down to like a thick paste. I might just keep it a little bit thin and runny because it is taking way too long in the crock pot. I think it might be faster in some other type of like in the oven or on a stove top or something. It might actually cook down a lot faster. However, I went with the crock pot and it's been 2 days, and as you can see it's still on. So I'm gonna try to speed this up, and I'm gonna keep it a little thin as I put it in the jars. So I showed a video of the tomato, about, I don't know, 50 tomatoes or something in here that was cooking down in the crock pot, and it's been almost probably about 12 hours in total that it's been cooking. And then I've put it at high. I've taken all of it and ran it through the sieve. Now the pulp that's left in here, I'm going to throw it in the air fryer, and we're gonna make dehydrate it completely to make tomato powder, which can go on if you make any fresh potato chips from home. You can easily get some ketchup chips with those powders and other things, I guess. Here's the pulp and the skin that came out of that. This is going in the air fryer at anywhere between 150 to 200 for 10 minutes, and then we're gonna do it over again depending on how dry it gets. This is just out of the air fryer, and I just want to show you guys how crispy it is. It's literally, you can hear the crunch. So I'm gonna blend this into a powder and put it in a jar. So this right here is the paste, not the paste, sorry, all the skin and the pulp that we dried in the air fryer. I've dried it or dehydrated it at 200 degrees for about an hour and a half. You just keep doing it over and over again for 10 to 20 minutes at a time until it's fully dry. And so when it was crispy, we blended it in a blender, and this is how we're gonna store it, in an airtight little jar, and use it whenever we want to season some fried potato chips or French fries or something of the sort. And now we're here just sterilizing some bottles. Once these come to a rolling boil, we're gonna let it boil for 10 minutes and then turn it off and take the jars out. And so I have here 250 milliliter jars. They're technically 8.5 ounces or something. I'm just filling it up from the crock pot into the jar here, and then I'm gonna add 1.5 teaspoons of lemon juice for acidity. It says to use bottled lemon juice, so if you are gonna follow this, try do that. Also, make sure to leave a 1/2 inch headspace. That's what it says everywhere online. This is my entire first time doing this. I've never canned anything before. I've only frozen things and saved it in the fridge and all that stuff. So fingers crossed, hope this works. I think that's about 1/2 inch headspace. So leave that much in each jar, okay? So we got about 6 jars, 8-ounce jars of tomato puree. I'm just gonna add the lemon juice to that. To each of these, I'm gonna add them. So once the lemon is in there, I now have a paper towel that has vinegar over there, and I'm just gonna wipe the rims to make sure the rims are all completely clean. There you go, and that there's no nicks or anything on the rims. If there are, you can't use it apparently. Well, it makes sense because it would probably shatter, right? And also you want it to be completely clean. So there we go. Now we're just closing the lids, and it says to close it at fingertip tight. And I don't know how tight that's supposed to be, because some people, anyways, fingertip tight, you guys. So I usually post most videos about a week after I record them. I'm actually using my Instant Pot for this canning situation because, well, when this is posted, I probably have my canner, but I had ordered a canner and I haven't received it yet. I haven't gotten it yet. So, and I went ahead and started preserving the tomatoes before it arrived. So some of it I'm gonna have to use the Instant Pot for. So in here, I have this like trigger, this insert that keeps it off of the heat. And I'm just going to put my cans in there. So I switched out the thing that's inside and I was able to fit the 6 of the 8-ounce 250 ml jars in here. Okay, so I don't know how exactly this works, but it looks like things are bubbling on the inside. If there's anything you guys can tell me about that, let me know. I water bath canned this in the Instant Pot for 35 minutes. I used the pressure cooker setting because I don't have a steam setting on my Instant Pot. Then I took it off and I took these rims off of the thing and I flipped them upside down and held them in the air to see if they sealed, and they all seem to have sealed. And it says to leave it outside like this in room temperature for 12 hours and then store it. So that's what we're gonna do. If you know what this bubbling means, and if it's not a good thing, please let me know. I don't know, maybe I left too much headspace in the jar, and then there's like, I don't know. This is my first time trying, so let me know if I have to freeze these instead of actually store them. Don't want about 50 tomatoes to go to waste because this was my first time and I don't know. Okay. We're now going to boil some of these. Okay, so these are for the diced tomatoes that we're gonna can. There's a whole bunch more next to me, but I'm just waiting for these to boil for 30 seconds so that I can throw them in an ice bath to get the skin peeled. So here's some of the tomato in an ice bath, and as soon as it's boiled for about 30 seconds, you put it in here and leave it for like another 30 seconds and the skin should come off. So here we have all of them skinned and ready to be cut, well, diced, and that's how I'm gonna can these. It's gonna be diced tomatoes this time. So here are the tomatoes diced into huge little squares, chunks. We're gonna be canning these soon. Now, I did use a whole bunch of Roma tomatoes, which are basically paste tomatoes. You might want to use a different variety of tomatoes that's not as mushy. That doesn't get all saucy a little bit, to keep its form a little better while canning. But if you're okay with that, I like the taste of Roma tomatoes better, so I'm kind of okay with this. But like, I'm not too worried about the texture as I am of the taste. But it's up to you. I don't know which type of tomatoes are better. I'm thinking slicer tomatoes or beefsteak tomatoes would be better, but you have to do your own research on that. Stop. So I'm just filling the jars up. These are 500 milliliter jars. I'm not gonna add any water in here, and you have to give about an inch of headspace at the top. I don't know if you saw the previous ones that I did with different types of like tomato sauce and whatnot, and tomato puree. One of the tomato sauce ones did get a little bit, not even one, a couple of them didn't. They seem to boil over on the inside and come out of the jar or the lid. So anyways, this is not full yet. I'm gonna add a little more to this. And then, so I'm just gonna push these down. I'm not adding any water. They're just gonna put in the tomato juices themselves. And you just have to poke out all the holes inside to get all the air bubbles out. Now I have here a paper towel with vinegar on it, and I'm just gonna wipe the sides and the top, actually, not the sides. But I did get some tomato paste on the sides a little bit, so those, I'm just gonna, and when you do this, you have to check to make sure that there's no cuts or bumps on the rim, because that can cause the entire jar to crack, and you don't want that. You want to make sure that you have a really clean seal, and also that it's fully intact. And that's it. And also now I'm gonna put on lids that have been, I'm just gonna put the top on these canning jar lids. These have been sterilized in hot water for 10 minutes in boiling water in that pot. I think I showed you, it got a little water on the top here. So put that down. Stop it. So I've been told fingertip tight only. Oh, I totally forgot. Before you do this, you actually have to add 2 tablespoons, 2¼ tablespoons of lemon juice to this. It says to use bottled lemon juice because you don't know how much pH levels are in the real lemon juice. So let me do that first. But just to show you, because I don't want to thing this, you have to close it fingertip tight. Okay. And this is one of the last things that we're gonna can. I have in here, I know you guys can't see it, I'm just recording it after I put most of the ingredients in. I have in here 6 cups of tomatoes, they're on the bottom, sorry, 7 cups of tomatoes, they're on the bottom, they're all diced. You have to dice it in the sizes that you want, or a little bit bigger, like a tiny bit, about 1 millimeter or so bigger than the size you want your salsa to be in. Yeah, so this is for a canning salsa recipe. And then I have both white and red onions. I just decided to mix this up. It's 3 medium-sized onions. It said, I think mine are more on the large side, a little bit more on the large side than anything. I have 12 cloves of garlic. The recipe calls for 9, but we like garlic in this household, so there's a lot in there. And we have 1½ cups of diced tomatoes. This is, if you can tell, it's still a little bit frozen. If you saw the previous preservation video, you would understand that's actually one of the bell pepper bags, freezer bags, that was already cut in it, put in my freezer to preserve. Now, this is the one culprit, one thing that you might have to figure out on your own. Instead of 3 jalapeno peppers, and I imagine there will be some of you who don't even want jalapeno peppers in here, so because that is optional. If you like spice, add 3 jalapeno peppers. We like a lot of spice, so we've added 5 tiny Scotch bonnets, which are very close to maybe a little more spicy than the habaneros or ghost peppers. So that is entirely a personal choice. If you like really spicy, go ahead and add the Scotch. If not, if you just kind of like a little kick, go for the 3 jalapeno peppers diced. If you don't like spice at all, leave it out. So I have just mixed this up a little, and now I have to add 1.5 cups of tomato sauce to this. So I'm just gonna kind of figure this out and do this. Ready? And so 1.5 cups of vinegar. Now you have to add that in here and then mix that up, and then you add a little bit of sugar. I'll tell you in a minute how much. Okay, so we've mixed everything. I added coconut sugar, or palm sugar actually. It's not coconut sugar, it's from the same tree. Now, the reason I did that is because we don't carry white sugar in our house as much anymore. It's a very seldom thing. So there was none, and I put 2 tablespoons of the coconut or palm sugar. If you're using white sugar, it would be 2 tablespoons. I don't know very well whether or not you can. So the audio cut out. This is what it looks like when it's cooked. This is the consistency we like. So as per the previous video, here it is. This one is the extra, I think, tomato sauce, not the diced tomato. This is all the tomato paste that I cooked really down. And then there's more diced tomatoes. One of them had to stay in the fridge. This was the one to be used up soon for like a chili or something, because the seal didn't seal properly. It like quarter of it like spilled out when I flipped it upside down, which is what you're supposed to do to check it, I guess. This is an extra small thing of, I don't even know if it's a pint or what it is. We use milliliters here in Canada. So this tiny little jar of salsa, and then there's 4 more jars of salsa plus 4 more tomato sauce jars that are sealed. These ones are all going to be preserved, like they're going to be in the cupboards just waiting to be used throughout the year, throughout the winter and so forth. This one I have to use right away because I didn't have enough cans ready at the time that I finished this tomato sauce. Plus I also plan on using it this week. Not to forget that we've already made I believe 8 servings of pasta sauce, marinara sauce, and have eaten it, as well as about 4 to 8 servings, I think, of pico de gallo with diced little tomatoes like so, but obviously not frozen and then thawed. Just we used it fresh in pico de gallo, and also we made tomato salads with like cucumber and a bunch of vegetables, about 4 or 5 servings of those. So out of 50 pounds of tomatoes, this is what's left right now after we've already had a whole bunch of it fresh. So I made 1 large freezer bag again of the huge ones that I will be using in curries, and then there's a whole bunch of these tiny little ones. This is how I mostly use my tomatoes in dices. It's about 2 tomatoes per bag, all diced into small pieces, and they will go into chilies, into curries, into different types of dishes. So here's to the 50 pounds of tomatoes preserved. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment if you have any suggestions or questions.